You ever get that one letter that makes your blood boil? Mine came in a cheap white envelope stamped with the HOA seal like it was some government order. The words inside were worse than a bad joke. Failure to pay fines will result in consequences. Your ranch is scheduled to be used for our upcoming community. You ever get that one letter that makes your blood boil? Mine came in a cheap white envelope stamped with the HOA seal like it was some government order. The words inside were worse than a bad joke. Failure to pay fines will result in consequences. Your ranch is scheduled to be used for our upcoming community event. Attendance is mandatory. Now here's the kicker. My ranch isn't even under their damn HOA, never was. It's a working ranch sitting just outside their cookie-cutter development. A place I built with my own two hands. But that didn't stop them from acting like they owned it. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. Yeah, it wasn't the first stunt either. A few weeks earlier, I caught them hauling off half a dozen of my chickens. When I confronted Brenda, the self-o pointed. Queen Bee, HOA president. She didn't even flinch. They were too noisy, she claimed. So we repurposed them for a neighborhood cookout. Consider it a community service. That wasn't a mistake. I was trespassing. But Brenda had a way of twisting the rules until her followers believed her. The final straw came one hot afternoon. I was out by the barn patching fence posts when a black SUV rolled up like it owned the gravel road. 4 men stepped out dressed in knockoff tactical gear, shiny boots, vest stamped HOA cop in bold letters. No badges, no real authority, just Brenda's hired muscle. One of them, the loudmouth with mirrored shades, strutted right up to me. This is a warning, he barked. Your refusal to pay fines is being noted. The HOA owns this land now, and if you don't cooperate, things will get worse. I leaned on the fence post and gave him a long stare. This ranch isn't under your HOA, son. You boys are trespassing. That only made him grin wider. He pulled a crowbar from the SUV and walked straight to my mailbox. With one heavy swing, he smashed it clean off its post. The others laughed, snapping pictures like it was some victory. Example, he said flatly, tossing the dented metal onto the dirt. Next time, it won't just be the mailbox. They piled back into the SUV and roared off, gravel spitting behind them. Stood there, fists tight, staring at the busted mailbox like it was a declaration of war. That's when it clicked. Brenda wasn't going to stop. She'd already stolen my livestock. Now she was sending hired muscle to my doorstep. The law could handle some things, sure, but I knew this game. These weren't cops. They were mercenaries in polo shirts and surplus gear, and they were going to be back. I'm no stranger to standing my ground. For ranch life, I was a Green Beret. Training doesn't fade. Just waits in the back of your mind until it's needed. And right then, watching the wreckage of my mailbox, I knew it was time to dust it off. They wanted a fight. Fine, but they'd regret picking me as their target. The busted mailbox sat in the dirt like a trophy. Not mine, theirs. That was the whole point. Wanted the whole neighborhood to see her authority stretch beyond the HOA's borders, but she miscalculated one thing. I wasn't some retiree they could bully. I was a Green Beret, and the last time I'd let armed men push me around was overseas, not here on my own land. So I did what I knew best. I started planning. First came the traps. Nothing lethal. I wasn't looking to bury anyone, just slow them down long enough to expose what they really were. A few tripwires along the tree line, some rope snares near the barn, even a couple of boards rigged with nails hidden just off the gravel road. To the untrained eye, it looked like a normal ranch. To anyone storming in without sense, it was a maze. Next came my fallback, my old Colt from 48. She was a relic from my father, but she still barked loud when needed. I cleaned her, oiled her, and slid her into the holster at my back. I promised myself only one round if it came to it, a warning shot. My goal wasn't death. It was survival and proof. Sure enough, they came back. It was broad daylight when the SUV returned, dust kicking up behind it. I spotted it from my porch, rocking slow in my chair, rag in one hand, pistol tucked at my back. Out jumped the same. For so-called officers, Their tactical vests still read HOA cop like that made it real. This time they came louder, cockier, talking into cheap radios and strutting like they were on patrol. One swung that crowbar lazily at his side, tapping it against my fence as they approached. Another adjusted his vest, the Glock resting not so casually in his hand. "You didn't listen," the one with the gun shouted. "Brenda says last warning. You either pay those fines and vacate your barn, or we clear it out today. Your choice." I stayed seated, calm. That's the part they didn't understand. The quieter I got, the worse it would be for them. "You boys like barking orders?" I said slowly, standing at last. "I'll say it plain. This ranch is not under your HOA. Step foot past this porch, and you're trespassing under Texas Penal Code 30.5. That's a real law." And pointing that gun at me, I nodded at the Glock. "That's aggravated assault with a deadly weapon under Texas Penal Code. 22.02, that's 20 years. Easy." They didn't care. They smirked, muttered into radios again. One of them spat, "Save the lecture, old man. We're not here for law class. We're here to make an example." They fanned out, boots crunching gravel, circling like they thought I was cornered. The guy with the crowbar stepped forward first, swinging it onto my porch railing with a crash. That sound, splintered wood, cocky laughter, was all I needed. My traps were waiting, and this time so was I. Another leveled a Glock straight at my chest. The other two tried to flank, boots heavy on the gravel. "This property's under HOA authority now," the gunman barked. "That barn's coming down today with or without you standing in the way." I tilted my chin. My voice came out, calm as steel. "Son, I've been through worse than this, in deserts and jungles you can't even pronounce. You want to play soldier? Then you picked the wrong ranch." Cocked the Glock. That was it. I moved. The crowbar swung first. Wild, clumsy. I sidestepped, snatched the metal mid-swing, and wrenched it free with one twist of my wrist. Before he knew what hit him, my boot met his ribs, sending him sprawling into the dirt. The gunman flinched, finger tightening on the trigger. My Colt was already in my hand, faster than he could blink. One shot cracked into the dirt 6 in from his boot. The bark echoed across the ranch, birds scattering from the windmill. His hand shook, and that's when I slammed the crowbar across his wrist. The Glock clattered into the dust. The other two tried to rush me. Wrong move. One hit my tripwire, strung across the path. Down he went, face first into the gravel, yelping like a whipped pup. The last one stepped right into my nailboard. His scream carried all the way to the county road as he hopped back, bleeding boot and all. For wannabe cops rolling in the dirt, crying out like kids who'd picked a fight they couldn't finish. And that's when the real sirens cut through the air. A pair of sheriff's cruisers barreled down the drive, lights flashing. The fake officers froze, pale as sheets. Outstepped Sheriff Daniels, an old friend of mine from years back. We'd shared sand, sweat, and fire overseas. His eyes swept the scene, then locked on me with a slow grin. "Damn if it isn't my old Green Beret buddy," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Figures you'd turn a fake raid into boot camp." The color drained from their faces. The gunman actually muttered, "Green Beret," like he'd just realized what kind of hornet's nest Brenda had kicked. Sheriff Daniels didn't waste time. Before. Were cuffed on the spot, loaded into cruisers, their fake badges bagged as evidence. Their charges stacked quick and heavy, impersonating a peace officer. Texas Penal Code 37.11. Felony, up to 10 years in prison. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 22.02. Criminal trespass. Criminal trespass, up to 1 year in county and destruction of property for my busted mailbox. 28.03 Class B misdemeanor fines and jail time. Then came Brenda's turn. Daniels had already been watching her, and once I showed him the letter, the fake violation slips, and the video of her goons smashing my mailbox, the case built itself. She was hit with criminal mischief. Catch Texas Penal Code 28.3, conspiracy to commit assault, harassment, and HOA fraud for misuse of funds. The county court didn't just find her. They dissolved her HOA charter altogether. Every fake fee, every violation she'd pushed on neighbors nullified overnight. When the gavel fell, Brenda's reign ended. She was banned from holding any HOA position in the state again. Her precious clipboard snapped clean in half on the courthouse steps. As for me, I rebuilt my mailbox stronger than ever, painted it red, white, and blue. Sheriff Daniels and I shared a beer on the porch that night, watching the sunset over my goats. "Yeah, you handled yourself just fine," he said. I holstered the Colt back on its shelf, brass gleaming in the fading light. "Sheriff, I wasn't about to. Let a pack of fake cops tell me what to do on land I bled vent. Attendance is mandatory. Now, here's the kicker. My ranch isn't even under their damn HOA. Never was. It's a working ranch sitting just outside their cookie-cutter development, a place I built with my own 2 hands. But that didn't stop them from acting like they owned it. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. Us. Let's see how far this story travels. It wasn't the fur.